7 in the morning in Milford had started the same way for 5 years in a row. Samantha Clark brewed coffee in a worn coffee pot she'd brought back from college, while Alex packed his tools into a tattered bag. The smell of coffee mingled with the scent of machine oil, which was so ingrained in her husband's clothes that even 3 washings hadn't helped. "You have the library today?" Sam asked, pouring coffee into 2 identical mugs with faded Milford High School lettering. "Yeah, the wiring in the basement is dead. Mrs. Thompson's afraid it'll short out and burn all the books." Alex reached for his bag, catching the refrigerator door with his elbow. Sam in a simple white dress, Alex in a shirt and tie, both smiling demurely, almost formally. Sam followed her husband's gaze. "Remember how nervous you were back then? My hands were shaking when I put the ring on. I was worried you'd change your mind." Alex took the mug, but didn't drink it, just warmed his palms. "I'm still surprised I said yes, fool." Sam pushed him lightly with her shoulder. "Who else in this shithole would fix my car for free?" It was their usual game, pretending that the marriage was built on profit, not on that strange, quiet understanding that had been there since their first meeting at the Dixie Grill 3 years before they'd gotten married. Alex, sitting in the corner, eating scrambled eggs and reading some technical book. Sam noticed that he didn't look up when the waitress leaned over the table, refilling the coffee. In a town where men felt obligated to comment on every skirt, it was a rarity. Alex finished his coffee and set the mug in the sink next to the plates from last night's dinner. They didn't have a dishwasher. The house, built in the 70s, didn't have one. But there was a spacious garage where Alex could work on the wiring in the evenings, and Sam could wash her Honda, which she used for driving lessons. "I'll see you tonight." Alex leaned over to kiss his wife on the cheek. A familiar gesture, not passionate, but warm. His lips were dry. He'd forgotten to use balm, though Sam bought them all the time. "Don't electrocute yourself," she shouted after him. Half an hour later, Sam was driving down Main Street to the Drive Right driving school that Jerry Simmons had run for 20 years. There were only 3 traffic lights in town, but Jerry claimed that people from neighboring towns came to them to learn. They said Milford was quieter and the instructors were more patient. Sam knew the truth. They came because it was cheaper, and because she didn't yell at the students, unlike the instructors in Tyler or Longview. The first student was Kyle Martinez, 17 years old, 3rd attempt at passing the test. The kid sat behind the wheel like it was an electric chair. "Relax," Sam said, buckling up. "The worst that can happen is I'll put on the backup brake." "What if I hit someone?" Kyle gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. "Then I'll put on the backup brake real quick." Kyle drove uncertainly out of the parking lot. Sam watched him check his mirrors every 5 seconds, honking before every turn, even when the road was empty. Excessive caution was worse than daredevilry. It made drivers unpredictable. "Breathe," she reminded him. "The car senses when you're tense." "Like an animal?" "Exactly, and it behaves accordingly." They drove the familiar route, Main Street to the church, the turn onto Oakley Avenue, the circle around the school. Back to the school, Sam could drive that way with her eyes closed. In her 4 years as an instructor, she had studied every pothole, every sign, every place where kids crossed the road on their way home. Outside the library, she spotted Alex's white pickup truck. It was parked in the service parking lot next to the Milford electric service van. Sam smiled. Her husband was probably already up to his elbows in the dust and cobwebs of the basement. "Mrs. Clark?" Kyle slowed to a green light. "Yes? Have you ever been in a car accident?" Sam thought about it. "There was a story about 8 years ago before I met Alex. Ice, bad turn, collision with a tree. Nothing serious, but the car had to be ditched. She'd realized then how quickly things could change. 1 second of inattention and your life could go down the drain. There was one," she said. "That's why I work here. I want people to drive safer. And does it work? Ask me in 20 years. After Kyle was Jennifer Harris, a 40-something housewife who decided to get her driver's license after a divorce. Then Ron Baker, a retiree whose wife forbade him to drive after he drove into a drugstore window. Ordinary day, ordinary people with ordinary fears. On her lunch break, Sam stopped by the Dixie Grill. The place hadn't changed since their first meeting with Alex. The same red vinyl seats, the same smell of fried onions and old butter, the same waitress, Dolores, who remembered the order of every regular customer. "Caesar salad without croutons and iced tea?" Dolores asked without taking out her notebook. You guessed it. Sam sat down by the window that overlooked the library. Alex's pickup truck was still parked in the same spot. She imagined him working in the semi-dark basement, untangling old wires, laying new ones. Alex liked this kind of work, methodical, requiring focus. He said that electricity was honest, unlike people. Either there was contact, or there wasn't. "How's it going, darling?" Dolores set a plate in front of her. The salad looked exactly the same as it had 5 years ago. A few iceberg leaves, cherry tomatoes, grated cheese from the bag. "It was fine, teaching the city to drive, one person at a time. A noble endeavor. I got a grandson signed up with you next week, Tommy Fletcher. Go easy on him, 'cause his mama's afraid he's gonna get on a motorcycle. I'll try not to scare him." Dolores went to another table, and Sam continued to stare out the window. An elderly woman with a cane entered the library, Mrs. Appleton, who borrowed romance novels every Tuesday and returned them every Thursday. Behind her was a teenager with a backpack, probably to do homework. Normal small-town life where everyone knows each other's habits. The phone vibrated, a message from Alex. "Running late. Problem is more complicated than I thought. Dinner without me." Sam frowned. Alex rarely stayed late at work. He preferred to finish things on time and go home. But these messages had been coming more frequently in recent months. She typed back, "Got it. I'll warm it up later," but didn't send it. Instead, she deleted the text and wrote, "Okay." The rest of the day went by at its usual pace. 3 more students, 3 more laps of the familiar route, 3 more attempts to explain that the car was not an enemy, but a tool. By 6 p.m., Sam was as tired as if she'd been unloading trucks, not sitting in the passenger seat. Silence greeted her at home. Alex wasn't back yet, though he usually finished work at 5. Sam heated up last night's lasagna and sat in front of the TV with a plate on her lap. The news was talking about the drought that threatened the corn crop, about the new shopping center in Tyler, about a high school girl from Longview who had won a science project competition. At 8 p.m., she heard a familiar sound. Alex's pickup truck pulling into the driveway. Sam didn't get up to greet her husband, continuing to watch TV, but listened to the sounds, the slam of the car door, the rustle of gravel under her shoes, the click of the front door latch. "Hi." Alex walked into the living room, still wearing his work boots. There were streaks of dirt on his hands, dust on his t-shirt. "How's it going?" "I'm okay. Kyle Martinez screwed up the parallel parking lot again. Dolores says hi." Alex nodded absent-mindedly. "I'm going to go wash up." He disappeared into the bathroom, and soon Sam heard the sound of water. Alex took a long shower. He always tried to wash off the work dust completely. He said he didn't want to drag the dirt into the house. When he came back, his hair was still damp, and there was a tiredness on his face that Sam hadn't noticed before, or hadn't paid attention to. "Tough day?" she asked. The wiring in the library was ancient. I had to replace most of it. Mrs. Thompson is nervous about having to close the library for repairs. She has a lot to be afraid of. Without the library, half the teenagers will stop reading altogether. Alex sat down next to her on the couch, but didn't touch her. There was a space between them. Not a big one, but noticeable. He used to sit closer, sometimes putting his hand on her shoulder or on her knee. Now he kept his distance, as if he were afraid to break some invisible boundary. "Did Rita come by?" he asked. "No, why? Just asking. She usually dropped by on Tuesdays." Sam looked at her husband more closely. Alex avoided her gaze, concentrating on the TV screen where the weather forecast was showing. It was supposed to rain tomorrow, the first rain in 3 weeks. "Alex," she started, but he was already getting up from the couch. "I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'll go to bed early." "But it's only 9 o'clock. I have to get up early tomorrow. Mrs. Harper's having trouble with the lights in the store." He kissed her on the top of the head, quickly, almost formally, and disappeared into the bedroom. Sam was left alone in front of the television, where the weatherman promised that the rain would bring relief from the heat. She sat for another hour, switching channels and finding nothing of interest. Her mind was spinning with thoughts she didn't want to develop, about how Alex had changed in recent months, about how often he'd started staying late at work, about how they were having fewer and fewer real conversations limited to mundane phrases about the weather and work. Maybe that's normal for a 5-year marriage. Maybe passion and constant talking is the domain of young couples, and mature relationships look like this. Calm, predictable, no upheaval. But then why was she so uneasy? The rain that had been promised yesterday never came. Thursday morning greeted Milford with the same dry heat that had been there for a month. Sam woke to the sound of the alarm clock and found Alex already up. His half of the bed was neatly made, his pillow fluffed. In the kitchen, she found a note taped to the refrigerator. Left early. Problem at the grain elevator. Will be back late. A. Sam crumpled the piece of paper and tossed it in the trash. Alex had never left a note before. Always woke her up to tell her where he was going. Another little thing that hadn't mattered before, but now scratched at her consciousness. At the driving school, Jerry Simmons was unloading boxes of new training materials. The man looked excited, which was rare for him. Sam, thank God you're here. We have a problem with car number 3. What kind of problem? The brakes. Miller was teaching his niece in it yesterday and the pedal failed. Barely stopped. Sam felt a familiar tightness in her stomach. Faulty brakes on a training car is every instructor's nightmare. 1 second and the student could turn into a statistic. Where's the car now? Tony's in the shop. He says it's leaking brake fluid, but he doesn't know where. Maybe somebody damaged the hose. Someone? Sam raised an eyebrow. Or something? I don't know, Sam. Tony said the damage was weird, like the hose had been cut and then tried to disguise it. A chill ran down my spine. There was no serious crime in Milford, but the idea of someone deliberately messing with the brakes was frightening. I'm going to Tony's to see for myself. Take my pickup, and Sam, be careful. Maybe it's just wear and tear, but it's better to be safe. Tony Reeves' shop was on the edge of town, in an old building that had once been a warehouse. Tony had been working here for 15 years, fixing everything from lawn mowers to tractors. Alex sometimes helped him with the electrics when Tony lacked experience. Sam found the mechanic under the hood of their Honda Civic. His feet were sticking out from under the car, and from beneath the bottom came swearing in a mixture of English and Spanish. Tony, it's Sam from the driving school. Tony rolled out on the cart, wiping his hands with a dirty rag. There was concern on his face. Sam, it's good to be here. Look at this shit. He showed her a piece of rubber hose, a brake line. Nothing special at first glance, but on closer inspection, Sam saw what Tony had noticed. The cut was too smooth for natural wear and tear, but not clear enough for intentional damage. Maybe a sharp rock? She suggested. Maybe. But I've been working with cars for 20 years, Sam. Cuts like that don't happen by accident. Someone did it on purpose, but they did their best to disguise it. Do we have any enemies in town? I don't know. But if this really is sabotage, the man knows the machines. A normal vandal would just slash a tire or break a window. Sam could feel the tension building. The thought of someone purposely trying to harm the driving school students was unbearable. How long will it take to repair? A couple hours. But Sam, I'd go to the police if I were you. It could happen again. Sam nodded and headed for the exit. At the door, she ran into Alex, who was carrying a toolbox. Sam? He looked surprised. What are you doing here? Trouble with the training car. Brakes went out. What about you? Tony asked me to help with the wiring in the new elevator. Alex put the crate on the floor. Is it a big problem? I don't know yet. Maybe. She studied her husband's face, looking for signs of worry or guilt, but saw only fatigue. Alex looked like he hadn't slept in days. Are you feeling okay? Sam asked. Sure, just a lot of work lately. Maybe you should take the day off. I can't. Too many orders. Alex picked up the box and walked past her into the workshop. Sam remained standing in the doorway, watching him talk to Tony. Something about his movements struck her as odd. He held himself more cautiously than usual, as if every movement made him uncomfortable. On the way back to the driving school, Sam stopped by the police station. The building was located in the center of town in an old brick structure that served as a municipality. Half of the first floor was occupied by the police and half by the mayor's office. Detective Marcus Reynolds sat behind a desk littered with files and empty coffee cups. He was a man of about 45, with graying dark hair and tired eyes. Sam knew him superficially. Milford was too small a town not to know the local cops. Mrs. Clark. Had something happened? Maybe. We're having car trouble at the driving school. The mechanic thinks the brakes were messed up on purpose. Reynolds put down his pen and looked at Sam carefully. Tell me more about it. Sam recounted the morning's events, watching the detective make notes in his notebook. His handwriting was neat, old-fashioned. He must have remembered the days before computers. Any suspicions about anyone in particular? Reynolds asked. No. Everybody in town knows everybody. I can't imagine who would do something like this. Disgruntled students, competitors. There's no other driving school within a 30-mile radius. And the students, I don't know. This is the third time Kyle Martinez has tried to pass the exam, but he's too soft for revenge. Reynolds nodded. I'll drive over to Tony's, take a look at the damage. If it really is sabotage, we'll look into it. Thank you. And Mrs. Clark, be careful. If someone really wants to hurt the driving school, they might try again. The rest of the day passed in anxious anticipation. Sam canceled all her classes and spent her time in the office, sorting through paperwork and thinking about who might have messed up their car. By late afternoon, her head was splitting from the exertion. She got home around 7. Alex was already there. His shoes were at the front door, and the sound of water was coming from the shower. On the kitchen table was an apothecary bag Sam hadn't seen before. Curiosity took over. She opened the bag and found several packages of painkillers, an elastic bandage, and a tube of ointment for bruises. One of the packs had a pharmacy sticker with the date. Today. Sam? Alex's voice made her flinch. He stood in the kitchen doorway in a towel, his hair wet. Did you hurt yourself? She pointed to the bag. Fell down the stairs at Tony's. Bruised my shoulder. Alex took the bag from the table. It's nothing serious. Maybe we should see a doctor. Why? It's just a bruise. But Sam noticed how carefully he moved his left arm, how he wrinkled it at sudden movements. Alex was never one to complain about pain, but now he was clearly in pain. Alex, I insist. Go see Dr. Chen tomorrow morning. Sam, don't argue. What if you have a cracked bone or a tendon injury? Alex stared at her for a long moment, as if weighing something. Finally nodded. Okay, I'll go tomorrow after work. In the morning. Before work. In the morning, he agreed without enthusiasm. They ate dinner in silence. Alex ate with his left hand, his right hand held still. Sam tried several times to make conversation but got one-word answers. Finally, she gave up. In bed, Alex was lying on his back, staring at the ceiling. Sam turned sideways to him. Do you want to talk about what's going on? About what? About us. You've been different these last few months. I'm just tired at work. It's not just tired, Alex. We barely talk. You're avoiding intimacy. You're always lingering. Alex turned his head toward her. His eyes seemed almost black in the darkness of the bedroom. Do you want me to quit? No. I want you to be honest with me. I am. Then tell me what's going on with you. Long pause. Sam could hear the clock on the nightstand ticking, the air conditioner humming, a dog barking somewhere in the distance. I don't know, Alex finally said. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. You're 31. An early crisis. Sam wanted to say something else, but Alex had already turned his back to the wall. After a few minutes, his breathing became steady. Sam lay awake for another hour, listening to the sounds of the night and thinking about how many secrets the person you share a bed with every night can hide. Friday morning, Alex did go to the doctor's office. Sam walked him to his car and reminded him to take his insurance card. Call me when you're done, she said. I will. Alex drove off in the direction of the hospital and Sam went to work. The day promised to be quiet. Only 2 apprentices, both experienced. The car had already been fixed. Tony guaranteed the brakes were fine. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Detective Reynolds called. "Mrs. Clark, I took a look at your car. Tony's right. The damage looks suspicious, but that's all we have so far. No witnesses, no evidence." "I see. I'll talk to neighboring shops, see if anyone saw anything. And be careful. Check the cars before every lesson." Sam hung up the phone with a heavy feeling. The thought that there was someone capable of sabotage in their quiet town was unbearable. She drove to the hospital at noon, wanting to see how Alex was doing. Milford Hospital was small, only 2 floors, but it served the entire county. Sam parked next to her husband's pickup truck and went inside. In the waiting room sat an elderly woman with her grandson and a man with a bandaged arm. There was a nurse on duty behind the front desk who Sam didn't know. "Excuse me, my husband is with Dr. Chen right now, Alex Clark. May I ask how you're doing?" "I can't divulge medical information," the nurse replied. "But if you'd like, you can wait for him in the lobby." Sam sat down on a plastic chair and picked up a magazine. Articles about diets and celebrities couldn't distract her from her worries. What if the injury is more serious than it seemed? What if Alex needed surgery? Half an hour later, the office door opened and Alex and Dr. Chen appeared. The doctor was an Asian woman of about 35, with short black hair and attentive eyes behind glasses. She was talking to Alex about something, but Sam couldn't make out the words. Alex nodded, shook the doctor's hand, and headed for the exit. When he saw Sam, he stopped. "What are you doing here?" "I was worried. How's the arm?" "It's fine. It's just a bruise, like I said." But something in his voice struck Sam as odd. Alex was talking too fast, as if he wanted to end the conversation quickly. "What did the doctor say?" "Rest and painkillers. It'll be gone in a week." They left the hospital together. In the parking lot, Alex stopped by his pickup truck. "I need to go to Mrs. Harper's. There's a wiring problem at the store. Why don't you take the day off?" the doctor said to Rest. "No, I'm fine. I'll see you tonight." Alex got in his car and drove off. Sam remained standing in the parking lot, watching his pickup truck disappear around the corner. Something about this situation was wrong, but she couldn't figure out what it was. Deciding to trust her intuition, Sam walked back to the hospital. Dr. Chen was just coming out of her office with a file folder. "Dr. Chen? I'm sorry to bother you. I'm Alex Clark's wife." Dr. Chen stopped and looked at Sam carefully. "Yes, I remember you. Is something wrong? I just wanted to make sure my husband was okay. He seemed, worried." The doctor paused for a moment as if searching for words. "Mrs. Clark, I can't discuss the details of a medical examination without the patient's consent, but I can tell you that the injury is really minor." "Only trauma?" "What do you mean?" "I don't know. I just feel like the husband's hiding something." Dr. Chen was quiet again. Then she said, "Mrs. Clark, if you have any questions about your husband's health, it's best to discuss them with him directly. I can't violate doctor-patient confidentiality." "I understand. Thank you." Sam turned and walked toward the exit. Behind her, she heard Dr. Chen call out to a nurse. "Janet, put Clark's chart in the safe and mark it confidential." Sam slowed her step, but didn't turn around. Why would a doctor want to classify a routine chart on a patient with a bruised shoulder? That evening, Alex came home late and tired. He barely spoke at dinner, answering questions with one-word answers. Sam tried several times to ask him about the doctor's visit, but got evasive answers. Going to bed, she decided she would try to talk to Dr. Chen again tomorrow, or with Rita. The mailmen know everything that goes on in town. Maybe she'd heard something about Alex's strange behavior. Sam fell asleep with the thought that too many mysteries had appeared in their measured life. The damaged brakes, her husband's injury, his aloofness, the doctor's secrecy. All of these little things individually might have been coincidences, but together, they added up to a disturbing picture. Something was going on with her husband, and Sam was determined to find out what it was. Saturday began with Rita Parker knocking on the door at 9:30 in the morning. Sam opened, still in her robe, with a cup of coffee in her hand. "Sorry to be so early." Rita held a stack of envelopes. "I forgot to deliver your mail yesterday. It was a hell of a shift. Half of Oak Street got someone else's letters. Come in, the coffee's still hot. Rita went into the kitchen and looked around. Where's Alex? Sleeping. He got home late last night. He's been working a lot lately. Rita sat down at the table and put the mail aside. I see him almost every day. He goes to the library, to the grain elevator, to Tony's workshop. Yeah, lots of orders. Sam poured her friend a cup of coffee, thinking about how to ask about her husband delicately. Rita knew the city like the back of her hand. 20 years as a letter carrier had made her a living encyclopedia of local secrets. Rita, don't you think Alex has changed? Sam asked, sitting down across from him. In what way? More withdrawn. We don't talk much. And he's tired all the time. Rita looked at her friend closely. Sam, do you suspect he's seeing someone? I don't know, maybe. Or something else. Look, I see your husband at work almost every day. He's not the type to have affairs. He's too, how should I put it? Correct. Correct? Yeah, polite, but he keeps his distance, even with me, and I've known him for 5 years. Some men flirt with letter carriers, it's a tradition. Alex is always strictly business. Sam thought for a moment. It was true. Her husband was indeed reserved with strangers, especially women. She'd always considered it a sign of loyalty. Have you noticed anything strange lately? What do you mean? I don't know. Maybe he's been traveling somewhere he's never been before. Rita frowned, thinking back. I saw him outside the hospital once. About 3 weeks ago, standing in the parking lot, talking on the phone. He seemed upset. And then yesterday, he was at the doctor's office. Shoulder injury. Is it serious? He says it's not. But Dr. Chen was acting weird. She sealed his chart. Emily Chen? Rita raised an eyebrow. She's usually very open. If she's classified, there must be a reason. What reason could there be for a shoulder injury? I don't know, Sam, but I know Emily well. We went to high school together. She's not the type to get dramatic over nothing. The conversation was interrupted by the sound of footsteps upstairs. Alex was coming downstairs, already dressed in jeans and a shirt. He held his left hand gingerly. Good morning, Rita. He nodded to his roommate and walked over to the coffee maker. Hi, Alex. How's the arm? Better. It'll be completely gone in a few days. What are you doing this weekend? Sam asked. I have to finish work at Mrs. Harper's, and then if I can, I want to fix the wiring in the garage. Saturday? Work can't wait. Alex drank his coffee standing up, not sitting down at the table. Sam noticed he was avoiding her gaze. Why don't we have breakfast together first? She suggested. No time. Harper's expecting me at 10. He kissed the top of Sam's head and headed for the exit. I'll see you tonight. After the door closed, Rita shook her head. There was definitely something wrong. He used to at least try to be social in front of me. Exactly. Sam, have you tried asking him directly what's going on? I did. He says he's just tired. Do you believe him? Sam stared out the window at Alex's truck, which was just around the corner. I used to believe everything he said. Now she wasn't so sure. Rita finished her coffee and stood up. Look, if you want, I can ask around. Just discreetly. See if anyone knows anything. I don't want any gossip going around town. It won't. I know how to be discreet. After Rita left, Sam was left alone with the mail. Most of the letters were ordinary. Electric bills, advertisements, bank statements. But one letter caught her eye. An envelope with no return address, addressed to Alex in block letters. Sam twirled the envelope in her hands. It was thin, with a single sheet of paper inside. The handwriting wasn't familiar, but something about it struck her as feminine. It was useless to fight the temptation. Sam carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a piece of paper with a short note. We need to talk. Monday, 7 p.m., Old Church on Pine Street. Don't bring anyone. E. Sam reread the note 3 times. Who was A? And what did her husband need to talk to her about so secretly that the meeting was scheduled in an abandoned church? The old church on Pine Street had been closed for about 10 years. The building was deteriorating, but the city couldn't decide what to do with it. tear it down, or restore it. Perfect place for secret meetings. Sam folded the note, slipped it into her robe pocket. She needed to decide what to do next. Show the letter to Alex and make a scene? Follow up with him on Monday? Or pretend nothing had happened? The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. "Mrs. Clark, this is Detective Reynolds. I have some news about your car." "What kind of news?" "I talked to the workers at the neighboring repair shops. One of them saw a suspicious man outside the driving school Thursday night. A man in dark clothing was doing something under the car." "Any description?" "Vague, dark, long distance, but the witness is sure the man knew what he was doing. He worked quickly and carefully." "Does that mean the sabotage was confirmed?" "It would appear so. Mrs. Clark, do you have any idea who might have done this? Maybe one of the students failed a test and held a grudge?" Sam thought about her students. Kyle Martinez was too timid for revenge. Jennifer Harris was a housewife to whom revenge was foreign. Ron Baker was a senior citizen who barely walked without a cane. "I can't imagine. All my students are regular people." "And the competition?" "The nearest driving school is in Tyler, 30 miles from here." "All right then, I'll keep investigating. In the meantime, be careful and check the cars before every lesson." After talking to the detective, Sam felt even more uneasy. The damaged brakes, the mysterious notes, her husband's strange behavior, it all added up to a picture she didn't like. At lunchtime, she decided to drive to the hospital under the pretense of thanking Dr. Chen for treating Alex. Maybe it would be possible to find out more. The hospital was on a reduced schedule over the weekend. There was another nurse on duty in the waiting room, a young girl who looked bored. "Excuse me, is Dr. Chen in?" "She's not working today. She'll be in Monday morning." "Can I have her home address? I want to thank her for treating my husband." "We don't give out home addresses to employees," said the nurse. "But I can give her a message." "No need, thank you." Sam left the hospital disappointed, but on the way home, an idea occurred to her. Rita worked as a letter carrier. She knew the addresses of everyone in town. At home, Sam dialed her friend's number. "Rita, can you tell me where Dr. Chen lives?" "Emily? 247 Maple Avenue. It's a little white house with blue shutters. Why are you here?" "I want to thank you for treating Alex." "Sam, are you sure that's a good idea? Doctors don't like to be disturbed at home." "I'll be careful." Dr. Chen's house was indeed small and neat. Sam parked across the street and took a few minutes to gather her thoughts. What would she say? How would she explain her visit? Dr. Chen opened the door in her house clothes, jeans and a sweater. When she saw Sam, she looked surprised. "Mrs. Clark, did something happen to your husband?" "No, he's fine. I just wanted to thank you in person. Maybe talk." The doctor paused, then stepped aside. "Come in." The living room was simple but tasteful. Diplomas and a few photos hung on the walls. Family, friends, a medical conference. "Coffee? Tea?" the doctor offered. "Tea, please." While Dr. Chen prepared the drinks, Sam looked at the pictures. In one of them, the doctor was standing next to a group of colleagues. The caption read, "Gender Medicine Conference, Houston, 2023. "Here's your tea." The doctor sat down across from her. "What did you want to talk about?" "My husband. I feel like he's hiding something. And yesterday I got the impression that you know something too." Dr. Chen carefully placed the cup on the saucer. "Mrs. Clark, I understand your concern, but doctor-patient confidentiality. I'm not asking you to break confidentiality. Just tell me if there's any cause for concern." There was a long pause. The doctor stared out the window as if searching for words. "Your husband is physically healthy," she said at last. "The shoulder injury is really minor. But there are things the patient should tell you, not the doctor." "What things?" "Mrs. Clark, I can't—" "Doctor, please. We've been married for 5 years. I have a right to know if there's something wrong with my husband." Dr. Chen stood up, went to the window. "Not all secrets are about health. Sometimes they're about, personality." "I don't understand." "Talk to your husband. Have a serious talk, and be prepared that the truth may not be what you expect." Sam felt her heart beat faster. You're scaring me. I don't want to, just, be open to what you find out. Sam drove home in confusion. The doctor's words swirled around in her head. Personality secrets. The truth may not be what you expect. What could that mean? Alex returned around 7 in the evening. He looked tired but satisfied. How was Mrs. Harper doing? Sam asked. Finished at last. The wiring was in a terrible state. It's a wonder there wasn't a fire. Would you like some dinner? Sure. At dinner, Sam tried several times to make a serious conversation but couldn't find the right words. How to ask her husband if he had any identity-related secrets. How to hint at the mysterious note. Alex, she finally began, I think we need to talk. About what? About us. About what's been going on lately. Alex put down his fork, looked at his wife. What exactly is bothering you? You've changed. You've become secretive, distant. We hardly ever have real conversations. Sam, I'm just tired. It's a lot of work. It's not just work, she interrupted. It's something else. And I went to see Dr. Chen today. Alex looked up sharply. Why? I wanted to thank you for the treatment and to see if you were okay. What did she say? That there are some things the patient should tell me. That the truth might not be what I expect. Alex turned pale. He got up from the table, paced the kitchen. Sam, there are some things that are hard to explain. Try. Not now. I need time. How much time? A month? A year? 5 more years? I don't know. Sam pulled a note out of her pocket, put it on the table. This came in the mail today. It's addressed to you. Alex read the note and his face turned even paler. Where did you get this? I opened it by accident. Who's A? Sam. Is this the truth that might not be what I expect? Alex sat back down at the table, head down in his hands. It's complicated. Then explain. I'm a grown woman. I can handle it. No, you can't. How do you know? Because I can barely handle it myself. They sat in silence for a few minutes. Sam could feel a chasm growing between them that might never be bridged. You have until Monday, she finally said. Either you explain everything, or I'll go to this meeting myself. You can't. Yes, I can, and I will. Alex looked at his wife for a long time. Okay, he said quietly. But just promise me you'll listen to the end. I promise. Tomorrow night, after work. Okay. They spent the rest of the evening in tense silence. Going to bed, Sam felt that tomorrow's conversation would change their lives forever. But she was ready for the truth, no matter how painful it turned out to be. A clock ticked behind the bedroom wall, counting down the time until all the secrets would come out. Sunday morning began with an awkward silence. Alex had gotten up early and gone to the garage, citing the need to fix the wiring. Sam could hear him fiddling with his tools, but the sounds were unnaturally loud, as if he was making noise on purpose to avoid thinking about the upcoming conversation. Around noon, she brought him a sandwich and coffee. Alex was sitting on a stool, taking apart an electrical panel that clearly didn't need repair. Thank you. He took the coffee without looking up. You're nervous, Sam said. Of course I am. Why don't you tell me now? Why wait until tonight? Alex shook his head. I need time to find the right words. Alex, whatever it is, we can handle it. We're family. He finally looked at her, and there was such pain in his eyes that Sam felt a prick of fear. I'm not sure we'll still be a family after this conversation. Don't say that. Sam, you don't understand. What I'm about to tell you, it's gonna change everything. Did you kill someone? No. Do you have a terminal illness? No, then we'll get through this. Alex turned his back on the shield again. We'll see. The day dragged agonizingly slow. Sam tried to read, to watch TV, to do household chores, but her thoughts kept returning to the upcoming conversation. What could be so terrible that Alex thought it was the end of their marriage? Around 4, Rita came in with the news. I've been asking around carefully, she said, sitting down in the kitchen with a cup of tea. Something interesting came up. What? Mrs. Appleton at the library says Alex has been staying late after work a lot lately. He's alone in the building when everyone else leaves. Maybe the job requires it. It could be. But she also noticed that he reads medical journals, specialized, endocrinology and, as she put it, women's stuff. Sam frowned. Women's stuff? Hormone therapy, something like that. Mrs. Appleton thought he was researching for you. Maybe you're having trouble conceiving. We're not having trouble conceiving. We're just not planning on having children yet. Then why would he be reading about hormones? Sam wondered. Endocrinology, hormone therapy, secret meetings with Dr. Chen. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to fit together into a picture she didn't like. Rita, the A in the note. Could it have been Emily Chen? It's entirely possible. Why do you ask? I'm just thinking. After Rita left, Sam sat in the living room with a notebook and tried to write down all the oddities of the past few months. Alex's aloofness, his reluctance for intimacy, his frequent delays at work, his doctor's appointments, his medical journals, his secret correspondence with Dr. Chen. By 6 p.m., the list took up an entire page, and the more she thought about it, the clearer it became that the problem wasn't the other woman or the illness. The problem was something more fundamental. Alex got home from work around 7. He showered, changed into clean clothes, and sat down across from Sam in the living room. On the coffee table between them lay the ill-fated note. "Ready," he said. "I'm listening." Alex took a deep breath and clasped his hands together. "First of all, I want to tell you that I never wanted to lie to you. But some things, they're hard to explain, especially when you don't fully understand." "Go on. Do you remember how we met? At the Dixie Grill?" Sure. You said I was different from other men. I didn't stare at waitresses or tell dirty jokes." "Yeah, I like that." "It wasn't because of my upbringing, Sam. It was because He stopped talking, trying to find the words. "That I'm not like other men." "In what way?" "Biologically." Sam felt her heart beat faster. "What do you mean?" "I was born in a woman's body." Silence hung in the room, heavy and oppressive. Sam stared at her husband, trying to make sense of what she was hearing. "What?" "I'm a transgender man, Sam. I'm biologically a woman, but I've always felt like a man." "No." Sam shook her head. "It's not possible. It's possible, and it's true. But we've been married for 5 years. We've been living together, sleeping in the same bed. I've been on hormones for 7 years. Testosterone. It's changed my voice, my physique, my hair growth. I had breast removal surgery before we met." Sam got up from the couch, walked across the room. "That's impossible. I would have noticed. You saw what you wanted to see, and I tried very hard to maintain the illusion." "What illusion?" Sam's voice rose. "You made me believe you were a man. I am a man, just not the man you thought I was." "No," Sam turned on him. "Men don't take hormones. Men don't get their breasts removed. Transgender men do it." "What about," Sam stammered, blushing, "intimacy? There are ways. Medical devices, special prosthetics. You never noticed because I was careful." Sam sank down on the couch, covered her face with her hands. "Oh my God. Oh my God. This is impossible." "Sam, I know it's a shock." "Shock?" She raised her head. "It's a disaster. You lied to me for 5 years. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell the whole truth. What's the difference?" Sam jumped up, started pacing back and forth across the living room. "You lied to me. You forced me to marry you under false pretenses. I love you, Sam. It was never a lie. But you're not who you said you were. I'm the same man you fell in love with." "No!" Sam screamed. "The man I fell in love with doesn't exist. You created the character and played the part for 5 years." Alex stood up and tried to approach her, but Sam recoiled. "Don't touch me. Sam, please." "What about the note? Is it from Dr. Chen?" "Yes. And what do you talk about in your secret meetings?" "Hormone therapy. About how to maintain my transition. About whether to do the next surgery." "What surgery?" "Genital reconstruction, phalloplasty." Sam felt nauseous. "Stop. I don't want to hear this." "You asked for the truth." "Not that kind of truth." She walked to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, pulled out a bottle of water. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely open the cap. Alex appeared in the doorway. "Sam, I should have told you sooner. I know you should have, but I was afraid of losing you." "You were right to be scared." "Why?" What's changed? I'm the same person. Everything's changed! Sam threw the bottle in the sink. Are you a man or a woman? I'm a man. Biologically, you're a woman. Biology isn't the only thing that determines gender. It is to me. Sam, no! She stuck her finger in his chest. You made me a lesbian against my will. That's not how it works. I had sex with a woman for 5 years without knowing it. You had sex with me. With the man you love. With lies! With lies! Sam ran out of the kitchen, up to the bedroom. Alex followed her. Sam, stop. Let's just talk calmly. Calmly? She turned back to him. You ruined my life. You made our marriage a farce. Our marriage is not a farce. We love each other. I loved a man who doesn't exist. I do exist! I'm here! You're a lie! Sam jerked open her closet, started throwing out Alex's clothes. What are you doing? Getting the liar stuff out of my house! Sam, this is our house. No, my house. I can't look at you anymore. Alex tried to stop her, grabbed her arm. Let go of me! Sam pushed him away so hard that he stumbled and fell on the bed. Don't you dare touch me! Not ever again! Sam, please. Get out! Get out of my house! This is my house too. No! Alex Clark doesn't live here, because Alex Clark doesn't exist! She continued to throw clothes, shoes, her husband's personal belongings. Alex sat on the bed, watching the destruction of their shared life. What's your real name? Sam asked, not stopping the trashing. Alex, I changed my name officially. And before that? It doesn't matter. It matters! I have a right to know who I lived with for 5 years. Alexandra. Sam froze in the middle of the room with his shirt in his hands. Alexandra. Yeah, so Alex is just an acronym. Yeah. Even the name was a lie. It's my real name. I chose it. Sam threw her shirt on the floor. There's nothing real about you. Artificial hormones, artificial body, artificial personality. My personality is real. No, the real Alexandra hid behind a man's mask and tricked me. I'm not Alexandra. I am Alex. You're a woman. I am a man. Biologically, you're a woman. They screamed at each other, standing on opposite sides of the bed where they had slept together for thousands of nights. Between them lay scattered things, the wreckage of their life together. Get out, Sam said quietly. Get your things and get out. Sam, now, give me time to explain. Time? Her voice has risen again. You lied to me for 5 years. How much more time do you need? I've been trying to find a way to tell... A way. A very simple way. Sam, I was born a woman. 3 words. But you chose to put on an act. This is not a play. This is my life. And my life? What about my life? You stole 5 years from me. We were happy. We were living a lie. Alex started to pack his things, putting them into a gym bag. His hands were shaking. Where are you going to go? Sam asked. I don't know. To a motel, I guess. Okay. Sam, when you calm down. I'm not gonna calm down, I never will. Maybe we should see a couples counselor. No, we shouldn't do anything together, not ever again. Alex zipped up his bag, headed for the bedroom. He stopped at the door. I love you. No, Sam said. You love the idea of me, just like I love the idea of you. After the front door slammed and the pickup truck started, Sam sank down on the bed among the scattered belongings. The house was filled with a deafening silence. She sat, motionless, trying to comprehend what had happened. 5 years of marriage had turned out to be a sham. The man she loved didn't exist. All their intimate moments, all their conversations, all their plans for the future. Everything had been built on a lie. Around midnight, Sam walked down to the living room. There was still a note from Dr. Chen on the coffee table. She picked up the sheet, reread it. We need to talk. Monday, 7 p.m., Old Church on Pine Street. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Alex was supposed to meet with the doctor who was helping him maintain his deception. Sam imagined their conversation. The wife found out. What are we going to do? Maybe she'll get used to it. She would. To the fact that her husband is actually a woman. That their marriage is a sham. That she's been forced to live a lie for 5 years. No, she won't. Sam walked to the bedroom, opened Alex's nightstand. Behind some old papers and spare batteries lay a small revolver. an inheritance from Alex's father, who had died 3 years ago. Sam had known about the gun but had never touched it. Now she took the weapon in her hands, checked the drum. 6 rounds of ammunition. Tomorrow night. The old church on Pine Street. One last conversation between them. Monday, 6:45 p.m. Sam parked the car 3 blocks from the old church on Pine Street. In her jacket pocket was a revolver. Heavy, cold, real. St. Agatha's Church had been closed 7 years ago. Since then, the building had been deteriorating into a symbol of decay. The perfect place for last words. Sam crept through the hole in the fence. The door was ajar. Someone was already here. Alex sat in the front row of benches, his back to the entrance. Dr. Chen wasn't there yet. "You're here early?" she asked. Alex turned around sharply. When he saw his wife, he turned pale. "Sam, what are you doing here?" "I decided to attend your secret meeting." "You shouldn't have. I shouldn't have done a lot of things, like marrying you." Alex stood up, turned to face her. He looked like he'd been up all night. "Did you spend the night at the motel?" Sam asked. "Yes, I hope it was comfortable." "Sam, please." "Please what, not to be angry? Accept that my husband is actually my wife? I'm not your wife, I'm the same man you fell in love with." "No, that man was a fiction. That's not true." "Then tell me, when was the last time you felt like a woman?" Alex was silent. "Every day of our marriage? I never felt like a woman." "But you were born one. It's not the same thing." "It is to me." Footsteps were heard outside. Dr. Chen entered the church. When she saw Sam, she stopped. "Mrs. Clark, what are you doing here?" "I'm watching the final performance. Have a seat, doctor. The 3 of us can talk." Dr. Chen hesitantly sat across the aisle from Alex. "Maybe I should leave." "No, stay. You're an accessory to this fraud." "I was helping a patient medically." "You were helping him lie to his wife." "I couldn't break confidentiality." "What about my right to know who I'm living with?" Sam pulled a revolver out of her pocket. Dr. Chen shrieked. Alex raised his head sharply. "Sam, what are you doing?" "What I should have done yesterday, ending this farce." "Put the gun down." "No, I've lived with a ghost for 5 years. It's time to get rid of it." "Mrs. Clark, please!" Dr. Chen stood up. "Let's talk. 5 years of conversations built on lies is enough for me." "Sam, think about what you're doing," Alex said. "You're not a killer." "How do you know? You don't know who I am. Just like I didn't know who you were." "I know, you're a kind woman. I used to be until yesterday. I didn't betray you." "Every day, every night, every time I said, 'I love you.'" "You made me a lesbian against my will," Sam continued. "Forced me to have sex with a woman without asking for consent. That's not true." "Yes, it is. And you know what the worst part is? Part of me still loves you. And it's disgusting. We can try." "No, no trying. I'll kill the illusion forever. You'll kill the man who loves you. I'll kill the lie that ruined my life." Alex slowly reached his hands out to her. "Sam, please, think about us, about what we had." "We had nothing. It was all made up. Our feelings were real. Based on lies." Sam felt something breaking inside her. 5 years of trust, it had all crumbled to dust. "I trusted you so much," she whispered, "and I lived up to your trust. You betrayed it." "Goodbye, Alex," she said, and pulled the trigger. The rattle of the gunshot echoed through the church. Alex fell between the pews, clutching his chest. Dr. Chen screamed, rushing to the wounded man. Sam stood with the smoking gun, watching the blood spread across the floor. A strange calm came over her. "Call an ambulance," Alex wheezed. "It's too late," Sam said quietly. "Too late." Dr. Chen pressed her hands to the wound. "Mrs. Clark, help." "No. Alex Clark is already dead. He died yesterday when he told the truth." Sam turned and walked toward the exit. The street was quiet. She got into her car and drove to the police station. Detective Reynolds was working late. When he saw Sam, he looked up. "Mrs. Clark? What's wrong?" "I shot my husband. He's at the old church on Pine Street." Reynolds grabbed his radio, called for an ambulance. Then he looked at Sam. "Where's the gun?" "In the car. Hands behind your head." The handcuffs snapped with a metallic sound. The trial was 3 months later. The story became a national sensation. The jury heard Dr. Chen's testimony, Alex's medical records. "I don't regret what I did," Sam said in closing arguments. "He stole my right to choose. I got justice." Verdict: guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Sentence: 15 years in prison. Sam was released after 9 years. Rita met her at the gate. "Where are we going?" she asked her friend. "Away from Texas, someplace where no one knows my story." They drove to Oregon, where Sam had taken a job at a driving school under a different name. She rented a condo by the ocean, walked the beach in the evenings. Sometimes she dreamed of Alex not as he was, but as she imagined him to be. Just a man who loved her. No secrets, no lies. When she woke up, she reminded herself that man never existed. 3 years later, a sociology student asked for an interview for her thesis. "Do you believe you committed a hate crime?" "No. Betrayal. It's not about who he was, it's about what he was hiding." "A lot of people think of you as a symbol of transphobia. I consider myself a symbol of the right to informed consent. Everyone has the right to know who they're sharing a bed with." Was what she did right? 9 years in prison gave her time to think, but the answer remained the same. Alex should have told the truth from the beginning. Love without trust isn't love, it's an illusion. And illusions are sooner or later shattered, destroying lives in their path. Somewhere in Texas, a man named Alex Clark lay in a cemetery. Sam never knew if the gravestone said Alex or Alexandra, and she never wanted to know again. Some stories don't have happy endings. Sam and Alex's story was a tragedy of two people who loved each other, but couldn't be honest. The truth won out. But the price was too high for everyone.